Hi, I'm Jeff Clark Jr., and this is Art and Underdogs. Today, I'm joined by Isabelle Jimenez, a young dancer who's been studying and performing ballet since she was 2 years old. And she's here today to educate all of us, especially me, about the world of dance and ballet, and to share her story. Here's a quick clip of Isabelle's performance from the ballet Scarlet, Chord. Isabelle, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. You're going to be educating me a lot on this episode here. Where did that performance take place? That's an amazing clip. The huge stage, right? You got a nice ovation there. Everyone's clapping. Where did that take place?
Yeah, that was our end of the year School of the Arts performance, where it's actually quite special. Our student company, which what that clip was from, combines with all the levels of the school, of the ballet school, and we put on the end of the year production in a local theater or school.
Cool. What's the name of the school?
Jackson Preparatory School.
Cool. Cool. Is that New Jersey?
No, it is in Jackson, Mississippi.
Mississippi. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, how much rehearsal did that take to get your performance really sharp and refined like that?
Yeah, we started that ballet's rehearsal all the way back in August. That performance took place in May, and we rehearse every single day, Monday through Friday, from about 10 a.m. till 3:30, taking class to warm up our bodies, and then we spend hours nitpicking all the little details with our rehearsal director. She's the one who keeps us on our toes, quite literally, and so. Yeah, many, many, many hours.
Wow. So tell us, how did you get into ballet?
So I was told by my lovely mother that since I came out of the womb, I was dancing and twirling and jumping everywhere. I cannot sit still. And so she put me in ballet classes when I was around 2 years old. And then ever since then, I just kept going and I just fell in love with it from a very young age. So
Yes, a lot of people. I mean, I guess people are born with talent, but when you're in it that early, you just refine that skill, right? You just get better and better and better.
that's the goal.
So I'm an actor. Ballet is sort of like acting in a way. It's you use your body to tell the story through expressive movement, rhythm, dance, or whatever. So have you considered acting at all, or are you just so in love with dancing? That's what that's all you care about.
I actually have not. I love the acting portion through dancing, but I'm not a public speaker, so that kinda pulled me out of the reins of acting, but, my sisters, I have 2 older sisters, and they were in theater and in those arts as well, so I was exposed to it as well at a really young age, but yeah, I really love implementing it through facial expression and movement.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like it's performance. You're we call it overacting. But I guess what because of, the dance, the expression, and it's very intense, you kinda have to, like, overact just a little bit to portray those emotions to the audience,
Mhm.
right? Does that sound right, or am I
Yeah,
completely
there
butchering
we
that?
tend to we tend to overreact in a sense with,
Mm,
our whole bodies, but something that I really find challenging, but also enjoy with ballet and acting through it is we still wanna present very real emotions with our facial expressions, to really tie in the audience to the character we're trying to portray. We always say dance big and, so the balcony people can see you and know what you're saying
mm.
on your face, but also keeping it, in a relatable fashion.
Wow. Yeah, in theater, they tell us to project your voice so the people in the balcony can hear you. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm friends with one of your teachers and choreographers, Alice, right?
Yes.
She's also an actress, and that's how we were introduced. She recommended I interview you because you're so talented. And she says you were admitted into Ballet Magnificat, um, the training program at 17 years old, which is a year earlier than people are usually admitted. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
Cool. So what is Ballet Magnificat, and can you take us through the process of how you got admitted a year earlier?
Yeah, so the way I found out about Ballet Magnificat was, through their summer program. Um, Typically, when dancers start to take ballet more seriously, it's around middle school age or into high school. And big companies around the nation and around the world offer summer programs. So you can study and learn their specific styles and learn different variations that they have performances for. And I went to a couple in New York and in New Jersey, and I don't know what it was, but they just didn't really appeal to me,
Mhm.
um, wholeheartedly. And so one summer again, I was looking for, summer programs to dance at, and I stumbled upon Ballet Magnificat just online searching, um,
Okay.
all the way in Jackson, Mississippi, and, I went there for a month, and I really got to absorb what they were and how different they are and what makes them stand out from other ballet companies. And their main goal is to magnify the gospel to the widest audience. Um, and the position that they perform in is not in themselves, but to magnify the Lord. And
Mhm.
I just, through multiple summers, I went there for 4 summers right in a row, and I just fell
Wow.
more and more in love with it. And the style is very different, very unique, very unique style of dancing. And my mother actually suggested that I audition for their trainee program a year earlier. And so I just decided, sure, why not? And I got permission from their trainee director I was doing online school at the time, so it was super easy if I were to get accepted to just move down there. Um, and the audition process was all virtual due to COVID. And
Uh-huh.
so I was accepted into their program and I
How did
moved
that
down, and
how did that
here I
work?
am.
How did that audition process work, virtually?
Yes. So we have to film videos, and this is still a common thing.
Okay.
Um, you film basically a set requirement of combinations that you would take in a normal ballet class. So we start out at bar doing all the basic movements and then into center, other type of combinations.
Mm.
And then you would do a ballet variation from classical ballet performances. And you send it in and they'll look at it and then they'll let you know.
So it's kinda like it's a self-tape, basically, like actors.
Yes.
They submit a
Yeah. Yeah.
self-tape for an audition? Okay. So
hmm
you just put it on a tripod, or does someone hold it for you and you just
My
like,
dad filmed me.
okay.
My
Do
dad,
you
yeah.
do you have to pick music, or is it just, like, quiet, or how?
Yes, you have to pick music. That's actually a
Okay.
very, big aspect of the audition is your musicality. If you're on the
Mm,
music, on the beat, with the counts. So that's a very major aspect of it as well.
that makes sense now that you say that. Yeah, yeah, duh, alright? You need the music to dance. Um,
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? I have no, it's important, it's cool. Um, so you traveled to Mississippi, right? When you got accepted, you traveled to Mississippi, so they had, like, a campus, or?
So we do what we call trainee housing.
Mm,
Basically, everyone who's at Ballet Magnificat as a dancer, we all live together, but it's either in an apartment or a home. I'm currently in a house my parents were able to purchase down here. And I live with 5 other girls who are also in the program or in the professional company. And we all live together, and it's actually really
cool.
great. I get a lot of people asking me if we fight a lot, and we honestly don't. It's
No, that's
really
great.
sweet to have a little community. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, roommates you actually get along with. That's good.
Yes, exactly.
Um, so you travel to a bunch of different countries, right? As a dancer.
Mhm.
What are some of the countries you travel to, and can you tell us a little bit about some experiences that you had that are memorable?
Yeah, so the first time I ever went overseas, was 2 years ago, and, we went to Zambia and Uganda. And then last spring, we went to Japan, and each of those experiences, I learned something new,
Mhm.
obviously with the different cultures and everything. But the thing that always has stuck with me is the different ways the gospel has to be portrayed, even in our ballets,
Okay.
because performing them in America, you're toned to one type of audience with specific struggles. And then when you go take that same ballet into a different culture, different belief systems, and all those things, things need to be adjusted. So the main point
Mhm.
of Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior gets across. And it's been a challenge, but it's been um, so amazing to learn and see the Lord work through the same ballet that I rehearse hours in the studio work in these people's lives. So,
Yeah, it's rewarding, I bet.
mhm.
So were you dancing as a trainee or in traveling with Ballet Magnificat, or were you an apprentice at that point? Um, and then what's the difference between the trainee and apprentice?
Yes. So when I was all those countries that I just listed, I was
Mhm.
in their events company, which is their highest level trainee level. It's also called trainee three. So there's three levels: trainee one, two, and three. Um, and the events company being the highest. We kind of are being trained as like a second company, but we're still students, we still pay tuition, but we get to experience and learn under and with the professional company. We take class together, sometimes we rehearse together for our Christmas performances. And so you really get
Hmm.
to shadow them and really see and
Oh,
get a
okay.
taste of it and going on tour as well. Um, and as an apprentice, I'm a member of the professional company now. So it's more of my job. In a sense, that's the main black and white difference.
Okay.
Um, there's more responsibilities that come with that, with some side work I have to do. I also take care of costumes with a couple other lovely ladies, and so, um, yeah.
So, oh, tell me about
Mhm.
that. So the costumes, like, what do you mean
Yes.
you take care of the costumes? Like, do you make the costumes or?
I do not. We do have a,
Okay.
seamstress at the ballet who makes all the costumes. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. But when we are on tour, when we're on the road in our vans, we have these big trailers, and everything for the ballets has to fit in these trailers, one of them being the costume box, and it's this big wheeled box. And all the costumes have to fit in there, all the steamers, we steam them before every single show, the irons for the boys' shirts, and um, headpieces, extra little things to fit with specific costumes, all of that. We take care of some laundry things too. Some things need to get washed.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anything, sometimes things break on tour, and so we have to sew it back up.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Have you ever run into anything like that where you're like something like a proper, like a something rips or breaks and you're like, oh boy, you have to run
Almost
backstage and
every show.
really? Oh wow, it's
Almost
that
every
common.
show, yes. Yeah.
That must be a little anxious, like cause anxiety, huh? Like a little stressful in the middle
It
of a
makes
show.
it fun. It makes it fun, I would say. I'm pretty used to it now. So
Oh, I
so
would
yeah.
never guess that's like a common thing that happens all the time. Um,
Things happen.
yeah, yeah. Random question: How do you stand on your tippy toes? I don't get it. I mean, like I would break my toes in half, like standing on my tippy toes. How do you get them strong, like to do that?
Lots of hours dedicated in the studio to just practicing, just going up. They're called releves. The French word is
Okay.
relevé, means to rise,
All I know is
and
plie.
just going up and down, up and down, up and down. First, you start on the demi shoes, which are like a soft canvas material, so it
Mhm.
doesn't allow you to go on your tippy toes. But then once you're old enough, and you have a little bit more ankle strength, you get to try on your first pair of point shoes, and they're made with like a lot of different types of materials depending on the brand, but it's mostly
Hmm.
layers of paper and glue, kind of like paper mache, and some wood and all that stuff. And it's supposed to support you once you get up there, but you have to have that strength to get up
Ankle
there and
strength.
not wobble or anything like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Guess it's like anything else, right? You just got to keep training those specific
Yeah,
muscles. Wow.
exactly.
So, what inspires you to keep going? Keep dancing.
Honestly, now that I am with a company, um, especially with a company with the mindset of mission,
Mhm.
there's a higher purpose. It's not about me, it's not about my good technique or how well I can dance or if I had a good performance or if the show was like not really my best or whatever it was. Um, for me, it is truly all about honoring the Lord, and that's just how I worship. I worship through my dancing. Um, it's something so special because it is all mind, all soul, all body as well.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm in a state of thankfulness for the Lord to give me such a gift, and I just want to keep giving it back to Him rather than honoring and glorifying myself.
Yeah, I love that. Do you have any performances coming up? You have something in Jersey soon, right?
Yes, yes, we do. We are taking Stratagem, which is a ballet inspired by C.S. Lewis's Screw Tape Letters. And we are going to my home state, which is amazing. Such a treat to go that far up north. Um, and it will be on March 29th at Mount Olive Middle School. And you don't want to miss it. It's something really special. It's very unique, very different.
Wow. Mark my calendar down. Hold on.
Yep,
Yeah, it's
yep.
awesome. I'll make a note. All right, so we're gonna move on to the underdog story of this episode. So, where did you grow up?
I grew up in a small town called Blairstown, New Jersey. Um, Lots of country, lots of hills, and with my two older sisters, and yeah, just a really sweet community. My family, my cousins were right next door. We grew up together, chasing each other, playing tag, doing all the things, which was really a sweet, sweet childhood.
Oh wow. I was gonna ask you what are some of your fondest memories growing up? Do you have like really nice Christmases or any memories for birthdays and
Yeah, I remember the most is being at my aunt's house. All the mischievous things we would get into, especially around Christmas time with all the snow, and in the summer with her pool, um, and at night with all of her bonfires that she would have, roast marshmallows and play manhunt in the dark, and it's all woods everywhere,
oh,
so it makes it extra scary.
you know
Um,
Manhunt? Oh
yeah.
man. It's gotta be a Jersey thing. There's not too many people know Manhunt outside of Jersey. Um, and bonfires, Jersey bonfires are legendary.
They
They
are.
really are.
They
Yep.
are. I love it. Every time, my friends come up to visit from Mississippi, we have a bonfire.
Yep,
We
especially in the
do that.
fall, right? The fall bonfires are
Yes.
the best.
Yes. Yes.
Where did you go to high school? What was that like?
I actually did online school. I guess you could technically say being homeschooled, but all my courses and
Okay.
everything were just online. Um, so I could just be in the studio more,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
dancing more.
What was that like homeschooling online? What did it seem like it went faster?
No.
No?
I'm not good at school. It
No?
was a
You
struggle
see?
for me. It
Us
was a
artists.
struggle.
I know, we use a
Yes,
different side of the brain.
yes.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, uh-huh. It
I
was
can relate to
rough.
that.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really rough. Shout out to my
What you
sister. She got me through all of my papers. All of them. All of them.
big sister?
Yes, the
Oh,
oldest.
shout out big sister. Alright,
Shout out,
that's
shout out.
great. Um, so I guess you didn't play any sports then because it was online school, right? Or did you play, like,
Yeah.
any sports for the town or
In elementary school, I was with, um, a softball team, actually, and I don't remember the name of it or anything like that, but I remember really, really liking it, and there was a point, I think it was around 4th grade, my mom made me choose ballet
Mm,
shoes or softball.
well, we know what
That
you
was a
chose.
rough day for me, but yeah.
Oh, so you like softball then?
Yeah, I really loved it.
Yeah, yeah. You chose correctly.
I sure
Um,
hope so.
do you have any hobbies outside of dance?
I do. I'm an artist in every aspect of the word. I love to paint. I love to knit. Me and my housemates, we all knit together now. We're like a bunch of old ladies at the end of the day. We just knit away. Um, I love creating things with my hands, so
Mm,
anything, anything, anything.
yeah.
Um,
You have the illness too then.
mm,
It's like
yeah,
a
yeah.
blessing and it's a blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah.
Being an artist. It's like you can't
Mhm.
sit still, you gotta do something creative
Yeah, no,
all the
I
time.
cannot sit still.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. Do you have any advice for someone who wants to break into dance? Maybe they didn't start when they're 2 years old like you did. Maybe they started when, a little bit older and they just love it so much they fell in love with it later. Do you have any advice?
Mhm. Yeah, I think my advice would be the best part about dancing is expression. And you could be like the best ballerina, child prodigy of the ballet world, and have the best technique. But people always say in this industry, if you can't express, if it doesn't come from inside,
Mm,
it's only just a show. And so for me, dancing was always an outlet to express my emotions. When I'm going through something, I always turn to dance, and I believe that's true for everybody. And you don't have to have the perfect technique to take a ballet class. It's also really good for you. And so get into that studio, just there's YouTube now, there's classes everywhere online. If you just wanna
It's
take
true.
class in your bedroom, do it. If you just wanna learn something new and expand your creativity or just your expression or just a way to get you out of something, dance is a really good outlet for that. So
Oh, it's good advice. So listen, I'm motivated and inspired by people who overcome adversity. It's one of the main reasons I do this podcast. I love stories where people come out on the other side, right? They face some struggles and they have a story to tell. I know you're still very young, but I feel like even younger people, the younger generation, they have to overcome a lot. It's very competitive, especially in the art world and dance and everything. Can you tell us a time where you had to overcome odds and you came out on the other side? Maybe you learned something from it.
yeah, so this is actually a really big part of my testimony. Um, my whole life, especially when I was really young, I struggled with a lot of different health issues, a lot of things that I should not be alive right now.
Mm,
And so I was able to really see um, the enemy really trying to get at me and take away my life, but also the Lord's mercy and grace and sovereignty, and that He has a plan and purpose for my life, especially through dancing. And in the ballet world, it can be very, very dark and it's very self consuming. You're looking at yourself in a mirror all day, all the time, constantly correcting yourself, seeing what's wrong, seeing if you could do something even better. And it's a very competitive environment. And I've just really seen God's hand over my life and protection from a lot of things that I could have just spiraled out of control about my body or about um, how I just looked in the mirror or
mhm,
if I'm just not good enough for this. And one part of my testimony that I always love to reflect on is actually auditioning for Ballet Magnificat. I had a really severe injury. I fell down the stairs, which is like
mm,
the silliest thing ever, but I fell down the stairs and I completely disaligned my last few vertebrae in my spine and I could not walk.
mm,
Um, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. And I've never experienced that severe type of injury before in my dance career. But it was the month I was supposed to audition for Ballet Mag and I was nervous that, I can't even walk. How am I supposed to audition for this
right.
for this company and for the trainee program? Um, and at the time we were having church in my parents' home and they prayed over me and I do believe I was miraculously healed because I was able to move and do everything again with no pain. And to this day there is no pain in my back. It is completely
Wow.
restored. And it was in that moment, though that miracle was so beautiful and such a blessing in my life because I literally would not be able to be here if he didn't heal me.
Yeah.
Um, but I really get to reflect on it wasn't in my own strength, it wasn't in my own technique, it wasn't in my own anything, desire, whatever it was, to get into this program because I was at my worst. I was at my
Yeah.
worst, I was at my weakest point, but the Lord had put every step in line to bring me here. And each year I've grown so much in my relationship with the Lord, and I've really seen His faithfulness come through. And even today, and bringing all these shows to my home state for
Mhm.
the past 3 years has been a blessing and a miracle. And I wouldn't have been able to see it that way if I have not been able to reflect on all these things the Lord has done throughout my whole life. And even just being here, which is such a simple thing, but
That's deep. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, man, it's if God puts it in front of you, he knows you can get through it, you know? That's why he puts it there so you can learn something from it. That's
mm,
how I think anyway. Because I've been through a lot of struggles in my life too, and I'm just like, it's okay. It could be that, this the devil testing me, but I know that God's gonna push me through. There's already a path set, and you just have to keep going. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, Man, that's powerful. Yeah, you have a very strong faith in God. You really do. I can sense it. I can tell. And it's a beautiful thing to see, especially someone so young. Um, who's lived just a little bit of life, and you're already. It's like you already see it, and it's awesome. So I appreciate
Mhm.
that story. So yeah, what did you learn from that experience? What did you learn from pushing through and just having faith in God and coming out and now you're a part of this, amazing ballet company?
Mhm.
What did you learn from that?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing as of right now that I learned, um, is that I just wanna be wherever the Lord is. And even though this is only my 2nd semester actually being with their company,
Mhm.
which in the ballet world, that's like the goal, is to be in a company and then from there progress in different roles and everything. But the longer I've been at Ballet Magnificat and the more I see God's glory and the more He shows up, my desire is more towards, I just want to be with you. And if that means hanging up my point shoes, even after 2 semesters of being in the company that I've dreamed of being in my whole life, basically,
Yeah.
then let it be so because you are so much more than that. And even in my
Yeah.
dancing, I always have to check myself and see if it's coming from a self-righteousness or from or for the Lord, and that
Mhm.
can always be a constant battle, but it's always
It
so much
is.
more fulfilling and fruitful when it's not even about myself. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we get stuck in those moments, right, where we become selfish a little bit and we have to snap out of it. And our faith helps us snap out of that. Um,
Mhm.
because it's we're all sinners and we're human and we think those things like we start thinking about what can I do for me to look good or be the best in the group or whatever it is. And I go through that all the time. I'm just like
Yeah, every
it's
day.
not about me. It's not yeah, it's not about
Yeah.
me. God gave us these gifts as artists, um, to express ourselves and to have a testimony for Him, to spread His word. It's not about us, and yeah, I struggle with that every day as an artist. It's hard,
Love
but yeah, that's great. Thank you again for sharing your story. A lot of people are going to be inspired by this. I can already tell. It was great. Um, so let's move on to the last segment of this podcast. It's called the Quick Questions Game.
Mm.
So there used to be a show on this channel back in the day called Inside the Actor Studio. James Lipton was the host. It was on Bravo, the Bravo channel, and he would have on different performers, actors and directors or whatever, and he would ask them quick questions, and they would just respond as fast as they can. And you can
Okay.
elaborate if you want. If you want to talk about your answer, that's fine too. But it's just like a fun little game we could play to end the podcast. So here we go. First question: what's your favorite film or TV show?
All the old classic Barbie movies.
The what movies?
Barbie.
Barbie movies?
Yeah.
I
Do
didn't
you have
even
a
know
daughter?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's old Barbie movies?
Yeah, like the classic ones.
Really? Oh,
Mhm.
you put me on some
She
game
would
here.
love
All right.
those. Yeah. She'll love those. You should show her those. There's some ballet ones in there.
I knew there was like cartoons, but I didn't know in like the actual Barbie doll. And then they had
Mhm.
like the recent movie, right? But I didn't know there were
Yeah,
whoa, I'm
no,
gonna
no,
check
no.
that out.
There's movies. I know Barbie from her movies, not the dolls. I know her from the
Oh
movies.
wow. All right,
Mhm.
all right. Educate me. All right, good.
Yeah, yeah.
uh who's your favorite artist? Be anything.
I don't know. I want to say a really cheesy answer,
Okay, go ahead.
but I would say the people I dance with.
Okay. Love it.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. What's your favorite sound?
Light rain. Light, only light, not all.
What's your favorite smell?
Anything baked in like a bakery.
Yeah.
That warm, yeah,
Mhm.
the warm vibes.
Someone said that in another episode. I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." Like fresh baked bread, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. What's your favorite word?
I'm not one of many words. But if I had to pick one,
Could be anything.
y'all.
Y'all?
Y'all.
Oh, you've been down south too long, girl.
I've
No,
been
I'm just
here
kidding.
for a good amount of time, okay?
I'm just kidding.
Y'all.
Um, what's your least favorite word?
Mm. I wanna okay, I don't know if there's, like
So when someone says something and you're just like, you know, like, I don't like that.
Mm, I wanna say, like, the dry version of how people hate the word moist. 'Cause I don't hate the word moist, but if there was a dry version for
Okay, I'll accept that answer, Isabel.
it.
um, if you could pick any superhero power, what would it be?
To speak every language.
Oh, that's a good one. That kind of is a superhero power. I
Mhm.
like that one. That's a
Like,
first. I've
every
never.
language ever, there's so many.
Wow, that's pretty good. Who do you look up to?
Jesus.
Love it.
Number 1.
Who's someone you would like to say thank you to?
My family, especially my parents, of course, but also my sisters. I feel like I give them a lot of punches, but they're the most honest and accepting people I know, no matter what. I can be, like, the worst person ever, and they will always
Always got your back.
welcome me back, so my sisters for sure.
Last question. When you take your last breath and you arrive at the pearly white gates of heaven, what would you like to hear God say to you?
Mm. My beloved, welcome home.
Isabel, thank you so much for being here, sharing your story with us. Where's the best place for people to follow your journey?
Yeah, you can follow Ballet Magnificat on Instagram, Facebook. We also have a website. You can find all of our performances and information there, and maybe you'll see me on tour one day. Who knows?
Yeah. And if you're in Jersey, what day is it? March
March 29th.
29th at
Yes.
the Mount Olive Middle School,
Yes.
right? Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Isabel. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.